Morning, folks. Welcome back to the lodge. We are going to talk about a topic this morning, worthwhile rut hunts. We're going to dive right into this one. We wait so long, we put so much emphasis on this throughout the year. We have such high hopes, and then a lot of times what I find is, strategies that you thought were going to work, places that you thought were going to work, kind of your fail-safe sits, let's say, don't end up panning out. The neighbor kills one of your target bucks. You lose a deer to a group of hunters on state ground, whatever that case is. What ends up happening is these situations here come to the forefront, and then all of a sudden we struggle, right? That's why this time of the year my phone is ringing off the wall. I do three to four client calls a day, and clients that I've already worked with and potential clients, lining them up and getting them scheduled for this coming habitat season this year. And I think that's the reason, guys. I really feel that's the reason, as we get wore out. Here are some topics. Here are 5 topics that we're going to talk about to make those rut hunts that we have left worthwhile. Number 1, fresh, not overhunted stands. That sounds real easy, right? But you're going to tell me, Josh, we're maybe September, October, we're 45 days into a season, we're 60 days into a season, whatever that number is, and you're telling me that my farm should be fresh. Well, I don't have any other stands that I haven't hunted numerous times back to back to back. That is an alarming situation. Stand assemblage, stand numbers, a lot of times, guys, is what keeps your property fresh. Now, this kind of goes back to my days of guiding. Now, do you always have to be in a different stand every day? No. Like I said, going back to guiding, I'd have folks come in and they hunt once, maybe they see deer, maybe they didn't, and then they want to go to a next stand the next day. Well, I can tell you that I've had numerous clients, after I struggled to talk them into, they have 5 days to hunt, they want to see 5 different locations, because they think if they're in 5 different locations, their chances are higher, and that's not always the case. So instead of 1 or 2 stands, try to spread the wealth out a little bit. I always tell folks this as a joke when I'm on the client properties. I can always tell where your favorite stand is, because that's where everybody wants to take me first, right? I want to go show you this spot. Now, 50% of the time, that's a pretty good spot. The other 50% of the time, I've got to be the guy, the bearer of bad news, that tells you you've been wasting your time. A lot of those spots have been hunted for 20 years, especially during the gun season, where that's where we've hunted, that's where we're going, we're taking all of our snacks, it's nice and comfy, and that's where we're going. Guys, I'm all about being comfy. The older I get and the way my back is, I'm all about comfort. But when I go to the woods, I'd rather stay inside and watch college football on the weekends and enjoy family time than I would go out, sit in a blind by myself with a slim chance of seeing anything or harvesting anything. To me, it's a huge waste of time, and it burns out your stands. The way to make a productive rut hunt during this time of the year, where it seems like things are slowing down, you're not getting as many, not every doe that you see has got a buck flying by, right, that we've maybe seen a week ago or 2 weeks ago. The way to do that is start to really pick away at what they need. What do they need right now? If you're up north, maybe that's a higher browse content. If you're down south, maybe you're still experiencing some of the chase. So maybe you're still hunting a lot of that cruising, the backside of doe bedding. Probably as a 50-50 chance, or 50-50 percentage around the country, if you will. That's probably involves a likelihood of that. What do we need to stay alive, right? They need water. Water, guys, and you hear me talk about this and you hear me preach it, and it's not just because I was successful with Atlas this year on it, guys. I study when I'm on a farm. A lot of folks, when we're going around, they're asking, should I have water here? Should I have water there? Should I have water here? Or on the other hand, nobody asks about water, and we get to the end, and then it's like, oh crap, where do we need water? I'm always thinking about that as we go. Sometimes I like to put my feet around the whole property. Then I pick and choose your water locations, but don't think that I don't have it in the back of my mind about which one of those stands that we already set together was your water source because of that situation. Water content is lower, your air drier maybe, it's colder, they're in those bedding areas, they're eating browse, they're bedded dry all day long, and when they go to get up and move, the does will seek water, the bucks that are following those will seek water, the bucks that are not on that are cruising for the next doe will seek water, 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 water. Number 3, we all know that weather is king when it comes to whitetail movement. Now, is that the front side or is that the back side? I can honestly tell you probably more of my success personally and through guiding and through my clients around the country have probably been on the back side of weathered fronts. I find that you can have some good movement, don't get me wrong, if a front doesn't, or hunting on front of the front, that if it doesn't just sweep in and all of a sudden, weather's changing and snow's flying and it rain's coming and it catches them kind of off guard, right? You can have, if you have time ahead of a front, you can have a good hunt. The power is behind the front. They're bedded up. It makes all of their attractions, guys, it makes your whole property that you set up, it makes it more powerful if you don't go out there during the storm, the snow flying, the cold, bitter temperatures, and you sit there, wear yourself out, freeze your feet, freeze your hands, and you get wore out, right? Those long sits, those all-day sits in cold temperatures, guys, this time of the year will plumb wear you out. So I highly recommend hunting the back side of that because you're more fresh and the deer are laying down, missing those feedings. They feed 5 times in a 24-hour period. We always talk 3 or 4 of which are internal of those bedding areas, right? And when they're locked down in there, whether it's the rut or not, if the does don't move, the bucks don't move. The bucks aren't really, at that point, concerned about, when it's snowing, let's say. Rain's a little bit of different situation, but the cold temperatures, hunt the back side of that, you'll be more successful. Number 4, like we touched on, are you burnt out? Pick and choose your hunts, guys. Look ahead right now in this day and age. It's a lot different than what it was when a lot of us were growing up hunting. We have these algorithms at the tip of our fingers. Whether you, and I have a lot of people, good friends, whatever, that say DeerCast is a hoax and this is HuntWise is a hoax and this is a hoax. Well, it's not. It's not a hoax because it's a one-stop location that I can put my finger on real quick off my phone where the pressure's there, maybe the moon's there, the temperature's there, the wind direction's there. It's a solid algorithm. You put all that information in one spot, guys, it can't be wrong. Now, you have to just have that. Just because it's good for me here doesn't mean that it's going to be good for you a half hour away, an hour away, 3 hours away, right? You have to know that in your area. So what I brought that up is this. Believe in it, trust in it, take advantage of technology, pick away at your hunts, don't get burnt out, because to be honest with you guys, a lot of folks overlook this time of the year. There is such good hunts coming yet, good times coming yet, because to be honest with you, this is when the bigger mature deer fall than the pre-rut and the rut. It shocks people, but as a guide, I see this firsthand. I used to see this firsthand. More big deer fall from the peak rut to the late season than they do in the pre-rut and the rut. It happens every year. Why is that? Because the older a deer is, the smaller his home range is. The later in the season it goes, they get back to using their brain as far as food and not getting in trouble going into the rut. So they go back on food. When they go back on food, you get yourself in trouble, right? It's just no different than us. Maybe around Thanksgiving, around the holidays, focusing on food a little bit more than we should, right? Same theory with the deer, and you can be successful and take advantage of that hunger that kicks in, guys. Great time of the year. Don't be burnt out. The number 5, guys, is a very, very important piece of this puzzle. Thick cover. Whether you're hunting a piece of public ground that the deer have moved into that cover, whether you're hunting those thick areas on a promoted private landscape, because it's something that we built and upped your browse content. Thick cover means browse. Later the season goes, browse is always king, but browse is more important. Your does are now going to be really searching that browse in those bedding areas, and those bucks are going to be there as well. So I've got a note here. It says PM food, focus more does in one spot. That is a strong hold for a very productive, worthwhile rut hunt, guys. This time of the year, from the peak on, when those does start seeking food, those does go back to being, if it's not overpressured, if you're not sitting on a food plot, if you haven't blown it out, if you have fresh stands, fresh areas, those does are feeling more comfortable out on the food sources, right? Well, the more mature a buck is, he's just picking away at the breeding pattern throughout the entire year. It's not get all the breeding done in the first 2 weeks, because if I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it theory. They pick and choose. So as these last remaining does are available, these mature bucks, guys, are very, very vulnerable, because they know that those last couple them last couple does could be in heat. Well, where are they going to be? What's the best way to shop instead of going, why go to 5 stores when you can go to Walmart or one big box store and get everything you need, right? It's very same theory. So use that to your advantage. Know in some of these rut stands, maybe it's still a gun hunt that you're tuning into this, and you can, like I said, cover multiple of those areas. Focus on where those does are going to be in numbers. Be a little bit tighter to that on PM's food source related hunts, because then bucks are going to be there dissecting that. Not what you'll find right now, guys, is kind of a proving point on that. Before the bucks come out, they're not worried about if you can get them to expose themselves in the food plot. They're not, interested in eating. They get out there, they run the does off, and you might get a glimpse of them. Now you see that they come in real good and slow, and they just eat. Then they might bump a doe around. They go back to feeding. They go to the next doe, bump that doe around. They go back to eating. What they're doing is they know that those last remaining does are there. They're going to stay tighter to them. Be honest with you, they start bedding probably even a little bit closer. All of a sudden, the early season strategies, the early season mentality of these deer in general, start going later in the season. Start going to a very predictable early season like mentality, and very, very, very productive part of the season, guys. So those are 5 that jump right out to me. There are many, many, many that I could talk to you about. Those are the 5 worthwhile hunts, guys, and it all boils down to, like I said, stay proficient, stay focused. We wait all year. You wait 9 months for a 90-day or a 3-month deer season. By all means, guys, don't get burnt out. Enjoy it. Stay on your toes. Stay productive, and stay proficient. Use these 5 points. I think that will help you make more worthwhile rut hunts. Thanks, guys.